So, I've been on a journey to try to figure out what I want business to look like for me. Oh no, I'm over here feeling dry. Hold on. After spending 9 years in the entrepreneurial space, like my very first kickoff was an MLM, or what do y'all call it? Network marketing, right? And that started in 2014 to this day. So it's been 10 years. Ooh. Y'all, that just stole my breath because 10 years? 10 years. Oh my gosh. 10 years of some success and then lots of famine. So it hadn't been what I needed it to be. And last week when I was praying, I heard these words that like really started shifting me. Because you see, y'all, I actually spent the last 3 years in burnout. But while I was praying, I actually heard it wasn't burnout, it was disobedience. I tell y'all, God just be stepping on my big toe and then stomping on my pinky toe. Oh, I don't want you to think that I'm making that up. Because, see, I was in the middle of writing a post about how, like, I doubted myself or other people doubted me. And then some people don't listen to me. But then when people did listen to me, they found success because of my gifting of helping people see themselves, blah, 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 right? But in the middle of writing that post, I received that download of it wasn't burnout, it was disobedience, aka misalignment, aka listen to everybody else but the one who knows my story and my purpose already. And let me tell you something, you might be going through a similar thing because when I read what I wrote, like I literally heard it, read it at the same time as when I actually wrote it. The truth of it sang through my veins. And what I want to tell you about that is you already know when you're out of alignment. You know, like you know, like you know, like you know when you're out of alignment. It doesn't feel right. There's always some little voice, some little intuition, some little gut check that you get that says, I don't think that's it. Or, can we do this a different kind of way? Or, you know what? This really doesn't feel right. You see, part of the benefit of this meltdown that I've had for the last 3 years, burnout, whatever we want to call it, but also simultaneously getting diagnosed with ADHD during this time and really researching and learning that, also knowing these other things about me, I've started paying attention to my body. So when I say gut check, I like literally do mean gut check. Like someone will say something to me and then I will have a physical reaction, like the little intuition baby will be like jumping like, that ain't it, stop. But I kept pressing on because I wasn't actually paying attention to me. These 10 years were about me listening to other people, listening to gurus, listening to successful people on their path or whatever that may be, but also knowing this didn't fit me. But is it that it didn't fit me because I wasn't trying hard enough? Or is it that it didn't fit me because I didn't want it bad enough? Or is it that it didn't fit me because my mindset wasn't there? And whenever I asked those questions, that little intuition baby was like, that ain't it either. So what I'm saying is you already know. You already know when you are on the wrong path. And conversely, you already know what the right path is. It just doesn't feel possible. Or it feels like it's going to take too long. Or it feels like it's going to cost too much money. Or it feels like it's not going to make money soon enough. It feels like all these barriers that we put in place because we believe them and not ourselves. Like if we were the ones given the task to build the ark, we wouldn't even go buy the supplies, or we might buy the supplies, but we wouldn't get started yet because people still talking, or we haven't seen it done, or we don't have the plans, or. So I'm going to pause and ask the question that has been on my heart to actually ask. Do you want greater? And let me say that again, but in slow motion. Do you want great? Or do you want to be great? or what you have? And I really want you to sit with that question, just like I'm having to sit with this question. And so that brings me to the point of this, right? So, as I said, I am shifting. Like, when that was understood, I was like, okay, so if that's not it, show me examples. And so, when y'all know it, I was getting examples. Three of the podcasts that I've watched this week have delivered those messages. Two of them came from extremely successful people in the entrepreneurship space. One of them was Seth Godin, the father of email marketing. He was on a podcast called Diary of a CEO. I just bit my inside of my mouth. It just shifted the way that I was talking. Okay, so he was on the podcast Diary of a CEO or something like that. And with Stephen Bartlett, I think is his name, the guy from Dragon's Den. But anyway, so Seth Godin talked about how he had started all these businesses and he built these huge teams, and he is now in business by himself. He has gotten rid of the teams, none of that corporation stuff. He is just himself. He's doing his posting, he's doing his long form, he's doing his SEO, but he's by himself. And I went, ding. Because I had literally told a Facebook friend earlier this year that I don't want anything big. I don't want the responsibilities of other people's lives, like being responsible for their paycheck, the way that they get to eat. I'm just here to do my communication, my healing, my speaking life into people, my reminding people of who they were made to be, putting them back on purpose, like putting them back in the path of purpose and paying attention to it, right? And the counter argument to what I was saying, but couldn't fully articulate, but the counter argument to what I was saying was that, oh, you need to create this business. You could be changing so many people's lives. And then, like, you can end up like, this needs to outlive you and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, that's not what I want. My books are going to outlive me. My stories are going to outlive me. The movies I write, they're going to outlive me. The studio I end up creating, that is going to outlive me. Hopefully for a long, long, long time. But like, I'm not trying to create something that is going to add more stress and strain on my life. Because when somebody asks me, whenever that question comes up of what would you do for free, or if money was not an issue, what would you be doing? It's never business. It's always writing, speaking, making movies, hitting stages. It's always communication. So Seth was the one light. And then there was Marie Folio. I think she was also on Diary of a CEO. And she talked about how she didn't want to do all this social media stuff, all the posting and worrying about the algorithms and all that kind of stuff. She's not interested in it. And her friends were telling her, like, you'd be so much more successful if you were doing this. Seth Godin heard the same thing. A matter of fact, he wasn't on Diary of a CEO. He was talking to Erica with a K. And she said the same thing to him, like, you should be making millions and billions or whatever it is. And he's like, you know what? When I die, I don't really need all that, right? And it was just like freedom. Because I'm hearing these two major players say the things that I have been saying for the last couple of years, more than a couple, about I need to do business differently. This way that y'all are teaching doesn't serve me and doesn't allow me to serve, because I don't even want to show up. And the third was a guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he was a former teacher, and he talked about like how he just wanted to travel the world and he didn't see Black people who traveled. Like, he's having the same conversation I used to have with myself. And now he's doing it. He's like, you just got to go out there and do the thing. And it's like the next step will unfold. And it was permission, y'all. And so I'm leaving behind entrepreneurship, not completely, but 80%. And I'm leaning on content creation.